Hello, everyone. I'm Dominique.
And I'm Christina, and we are the Connected in Glass podcast.
Every week, we will feature interviews with glass artists who speak to their creative processes and overcoming challenges.
These conversations are real and raw. We hope that by sharing these stories, you're able to find some connection and know that you're not alone.
We just wanted to take a moment to thank you for listening to our podcast. We're super passionate about this project and work for hours every week to bring you this content. So if you'd like to help support us, please consider becoming a patron at patreon.com/connectedinglass. Also, please consider joining our Facebook group, Connected in Glass Community, where we continue the conversations from these episodes. We'd love to hear from you. Today, we're interviewing Yukimi Matsumoto. Yukimi is a glass artist originally from Osaka, Japan, but is currently based in Sandwich, Massachusetts. She's been working with furnace glass since 1993.
Hi.
Hello.
Hello.
Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me. Pretty exciting.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay. So to start, we want to know about you. So maybe tell us about where you're from, where you live.
Okay. I'm from Japan, Osaka, Japan. That is like quite big city. And I went to a designing school in Osaka. And I always wanted to do something with my hand, wanted to do something decorative, beauty, something with it, that line of things. And I saw in the school they had a glass course. That's why I chose that college. And that place really didn't have too many equipment for like nothing about glass blowing. But they show me so many things, what you can do, the books and a little bit of stained glass, fusing, small place can give you whatever, torch work. And I was really amazed by so many things you can do. And then I had opportunity to go to a Japanese school starts at April. And then maybe month after I started the school, the teacher was like, one studio is looking for apprentice. Do you want to go? Does anybody want to go? I was like, oh, yeah, who doesn't? So I applied for that and they accept me. And then, I went at the summertime, August 1st to August 31st for just exact 1 month. And that was my best time in 20 years of my life or 19 years of the life I had. So that's what got me. And and then that smell of the glass studio, seeing the real glass artists working their thing and teaching me or talking about glass or they are designing in the office. Everything about it was just amazing. And I really loved everything about it. So after I come back to Osaka, still I was in a school, but I really wanted to do more about glass blowing. I wanted to know more. So I looked for places and went to a couple of places to take a lesson. Most of the places outside of the city because the land is more expensive in the city. So many studio just opens maybe 2 hours in a train. So wherever I go, it was like all day things and I have to go so far with my best friend and every week I went somewhere or I was really obsessed with the word glass in a phone book made me excited. So I went to window glass places to get the scraps. Yeah. did any kind of fusing, any kind of torch working, and yeah, any kind of stained glass didn't really catch me. I want the melted glass. So that's I started. I'm lucky. I don't think I learned too many things about things in the college, but I think the best thing happened because of I went to the college.
So when you're doing this apprenticeship and you're learning all this glass, was it like production work or was it like an artistic style of glass?
It's both. There was maybe 5 artists there, and they do their own things, but I just helped. I couldn't do anything. I may be able to bring a bit of ponty, but most of the time I was sweeping the floor, doing a little fusing from their scraps or yes, stuff like that. But they give me a time to teach me gathering and make something out of like a chopstick rest. That's their big hit. So data piece. So they let me do that, and just like handling the glass in the end of the iron was I couldn't do it. Of course, in the beginning, I tried to focus what everybody else is doing. It's only needed small amount of glass, but it just fascinated me. I tried to practice with chopsticks whenever I'm eating something. Yeah, crazy love there. And then then I went to several places, 3 places for lessons. I started to be able to gather or make a little bubbles. And then maybe a little bit more than that. For a couple of years I did it every week. And then go back to work. After I graduated, I went back to work at the place where I started Suwa Glass Studio in Nagano in Japan. So I went there, and then like it just dawned on me, I have no really a skill. I just jump into the glass studio because there was opportunity and I wanted to learn everything I can, but it's not right for me to. I am selling bases, cups, and whatever the products that studio product we have to make as a beginner. I wasn't doing everything, enjoying it, but there was a frustration inside me that I feel like I'm lying to a customer that with my skill or maybe I'm lying to myself saying like I can do this. I'm a professional now because I'm making money out of it, even a little bit. And that kind of got me a little bit, and I wanted to take a break after a couple of years working there. Wanted to learn more. And so I started not like that. This place made me let me have a time to make my own things, which is I think it was a great opportunity, but still made me that nervous things. So I went to quit the place and back to the Osaka area and starting to more assist people to learn many different techniques, and I wanted to make my base stronger. I don't want to build up on a small base. I wanted to know more before I start to create and try to see where I'm going. I feel like if I had a small base, the mountain I can build from it is gonna be a tiny, like embarrassing. So I went several places, and then I think around 1999, yes, I built up money and I said to myself, I am renting places, assisting at the many places, but I am very not what I wanted. And frustrated with my path. So I was like, maybe I will go to a Corning. Let's blast my money. And I will decide what I'm going to do after that. So I did. End story. I met my husband now. But
you met at Corning?
We met at Corning.
That was
so
one of the
sweet.
questions I needed to ask. Wait, hold on 1 minute. So back where you grew up, like there's such a strong glass community there, it sounds like, right? They were kind of everywhere.
When I was started at like 1990, like 3 or 5, around that time there was starting the one generation, or like 10 years older than me. The people around the age had like glass studios starting to open, and some like museum had the glass studio on the side and showing people and selling their things. So I had enough, but not that much. I think that is a beginning of Japanese glass studio movement, sort of, at the time. And now when I go back to Japan and see around, there is really good glass blowers coming out. More of the branches from that our generation, older people taught everybody, and then finally so many people are more different technique and better design and better skill is happening now. I think much more studio is successful now too, I think. But at my time, my time there wasn't too many successful individuals yet.
Cool. Okay, so then you went to Corning because you felt like you couldn't get the foundation that you needed at home, and you were going to blow all your savings.
Yeah. Fireworks. So yeah.
Okay, tell us about Corning. Did you go to take a class? Did you go for like a residency or something?
No, I just took 4 classes.
Just 4?
Right? I was gonna just blast it out. And and it was really different. Japanese are maybe more strict and serious. And it is in a good way, I think, but sometimes it gets too serious too. There's good and bad in everything, I guess. And it is a class in a Corning, and it is maybe everybody isn't that serious anyway. But the fun they had, everybody around me, I thought that was really amazing. Changed my view. Like I have to be serious of what I want, but I don't have to be square about it, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. Wait, what classes did you take? Did you take a wide range of things?
Yeah, I did. I did get a sculpture and also Paradise Paint at the time. That was kind of in. Have you heard of it? It's a painting in a you can cast in or you can blow out. So that is a 1 class and 2 class of pure goodness. And then 1 class of Matthew, I forgot his last name, but the paperweight. Oh, no, it's a marble with the different colors, and it was fun too.
Mark Matthews. Wait, what class did you meet Dave in?
Oh, I met in a 3rd of the pure goodness class.
So in glassblowing boot camp class.
Right. Little bit advanced Italian technique, I guess. The first one was
the perfect place for romance.
Yeah, wait. And so did you fall in love with him right away?
I think I did. I think I didn't know quite a bit, but I think I did a little bit like crush on him. It was really good glass blow. And he was oh my god. And yeah, he was like 45. I was 25. So it was a lot of year different. But now I'm older than his age. Then not that old, right?
Yeah, I didn't even realize that you had that big of an age gap. I don't think it matters, obviously, but it wasn't super apparent to me. And then was he like, you want to come home to Cape Cod with me?
No, there was no cell phone. There was no computer at the time for me. There was a computer, of course, then, but I didn't have one. So we just talked. over the phone. Took so much money. And then I just came visit him at the summer of same year. And then at the time he was working at different place close to here for 27 years, I think by then. And I helped in that shop and I really loved it too. And it was really more of the production type of place. But David's master from Scotland was there too. And they never had a girl working in the shop. And everybody's just doing the really good glass blowers. And they are gathering and really good. The small, simple technique is like best I've ever seen. And I was thinking in this small place, I guess it's not that small, but in this place, there's a good glass blower. And if I can learn the base from this place and from David, I maybe can, this is maybe what I wanted. I didn't even know my gathering needed so much work before I seen the people and David's master and David gathering a bit and how much and what the color and what the temperature they controlled it really well. And I was like, wow, it's unbelievable. So
I feel like they welcomed you really easily as a woman and a woman from another country.
Right?
Or do you feel like they didn't? Or was it like weird for them or hard for them?
I think it was weird for them. I've seen guys and women in the shop, but they haven't, right? So they were like, who is this? And I was like, oh, it's only me. And but they were welcoming. They were really nice. But I guess must have that feeling of like, oh, what can she do? But I really love working hard, especially at the time. And I remember one day I was taking care of 3 benches by myself, running everywhere like a crazy person and enjoying every minute of it. And the owner of the place, Glass Studio, came to me and gave me a letter and thanking me for the hard work I'm putting in. And I was like, David told me that never happened to anybody before. And he said that like the guys who worked there was kind of surprised how much in this small Japanese girl running everywhere more than the stronger guys can ever did before. So like good, like that's why the owner sees it and like that you kind of did it, and that made me so proud of myself and so happy. And we got good teams starting to like those assistants that becoming a really good team after, and I can see one guy needed something, but have a like 2 minutes before he needed, and I don't have the time. So I looked at another guy to like, you have to do that. And then he runs to that place while I'm doing something else. And we just didn't have to talk anything. And it was really satisfying feeling that I really needed in glass experiments that I was having. And I think that in the beginning of the when I started to work in the first place, I felt like I have to call myself artist because I was pressured to be an artist before I feel like I am. If you get what I'm saying, that I'm not good yet, or I'm not even like showing what I wanted. I just making a product of what I can do to please people. Or yeah. And
when did you start to like come up with your own creative ideas? Because your work now it's like recognizable, right? It took you a while to like find yourself.
Yeah, it took a while. After I'm working with David in our new studio ourselves, I remember exactly when too. Yeah, I am always interested in the color of everything. And glass color, glass color is kind of difficult. You have to know which one react to each other or what they do when you mix, and or how they blow out. So when I started to do the glass, I guess I mixed colors too much and everything came out like brown. I'm like horrible. But I guess I always, even in a painting, I usually make my own colors in paint. Like I get a 3 primary color usually, and then I do everything from that. And I wanted to do that kind of similar things with glass, but it just not happen. So because it's just chemical, and metal oxide just don't mix up right. So I don't have a brain for getting into the color making in a glass. I don't want to do that. So I just like starting to play with colors a lot and making a paperweight and practicing in a break time. And yeah, and then I starting to do poking into the color and powder mix in a paperweight. And then I starting to poke in, and I realized that sometimes glass colors have a memories and they comes out from different way. And than you would expect, or I did expect at the time. So so I was thinking, if I can do this with solid glass, what happens when I blow out to that? And then I realized you can do quite a bit to the color, and still they have some form of order in the color, even after you blow out. And that's really a big change for me at the time.
So you're taking like your painting skills and the foundations that you have with your painting, and then you're doing experiments to figure out how to apply them into your glasswork.
I did try in the beginning, and I realized how different the pigment of painting to a glass colors. So I sort of give up, but now I look back, I still find out the way of mixing in a glass. I think that's the surprising part for me. I thought I gave up on mixing, but I guess I never do. Yeah.
Okay, but so when did you decide that you're gonna just up and move to America? And then when did you guys start a studio? Like, did you start it together, or did he start the studio and then you moved in later?
Yes. No. David had the house already in the same place here in Sandwich. And after, I think he was working at the same place almost 30 years then. And he got in a fight with the owner after a year or two that I was starting to work. And he get really upset and he quit without thinking too much. He's Irish. If I can say, he has a really stubborn brain. And I'm like, I just started here. I'm happy right now. I'm becoming a friend and really a good team now. And you're gonna quit now? And what are we gonna do? And he was like, let's make it our place. So we figured out what we can do. David is a good glass blower, and at the time I'm a good art assistant. So we don't know anything about business or marketing.
Oh, those things aren't important.
Yeah. Calculating business. Right. Now I know that it's maybe more important, but of course that time we are young and didn't know that. So we just jump off the cliff and let's do this. Let's built our studio, and then we built it just about everything, equipment, even the building. We did it by ourselves, and we got so many people come and help us too. And but Owen Dodds, maybe you know him. He was 20 years ago. We met and become a friend, and he helped us so much with our kiln and furnace and everything.
He's such a nice man.
He's great.
He's listened to me cry a couple of times about my furnace. Not gonna lie. No shame over here.
It's so hard, but of course, I think we are lucky. We are kind of idiot. Didn't know what's coming after the studio building, so we just jumped in. If we knew, I think I was too scared and worried about everything, and I wouldn't do it. But the ignorance is blessing sometimes. So I'm lucky. Yeah.
Can you tell us about like your business model? Like you're in a touristy area, or I know that you probably didn't necessarily have one when you started, but now you clearly do. Can you tell us about how you run the business? You have maybe a line of products. You have a gallery, right?
Yeah, we try to be business.
Well, you kind of have a touristy place, right? So I'm sure that you get like a huge influx of summer people, and then you do a lot of like ocean themey stuff for them, right?
Right, we kind of have to. I feel like we are really lucky where we are, and we are still be able to do things what we love to do. We are trying not to forget about that. And so there is many other touristy stuff, but try not to forget the funness of glass in the making part. I only can say try, but try to do, if somebody have a crazy order, still try to like make it happen. And if not, I will say it doesn't. And I try to be as nice as possible to the customer, because they never, even if they never seen the glass, maybe people give me the same question over and over. But for them, it's like first, like maybe once a lifetime opportunity to see glass. So I try to be excited every time I see people, and try not to get too much shit from people either. I will give them a nice I give them a nice space, but if they're starting something, I will give them back. Because you can't please everybody, but I try.
Do you think that people treat you differently than Dave in that regard? Like because you're like a tiny little woman, do you think that they treat you in an equal manner?
Yeah, I'm not sure. The beginning I felt it. Maybe I was younger, and maybe I was way more nervous with English too. Now I start to not care either, and then people starting to see me as me than like little Asian girl.
Maybe they could like feel your insecurity a little, so they would ride on you more.
Right, and I think that happens like if I'm talking to the customer and like explaining everything, and then David comes into the studio or the gallery and say like, "Oh, nice to meet you, and this is my husband, David." And then he started to talk about glass, and then customer goes, "Oh, you do it too," to David. And it was I thought that was funny because he's the one. But he get hurt by hearing that. Like, what do you mean I do it?
Well, he gets hurt. Little man ego.
Yeah, right. And then I feel the same way when he was talking to the customer, and then I walk in, and then like same thing happens. Like, oh, you do it too. And then I start to feel like, oh yeah, because of I'm a woman, you think I don't do this, right? But so I guess both way happens, but I think I am easily, they can say, yeah, I don't know. There is a name too in the wall, so maybe they know by now.
That's such an interesting perspective.
Right. So
Yeah,
are you running your hot shop during the summer with all of the tourists, or is it just the gallery? How do you function?
Yeah. Yeah, we do. We blow glass 3 days a week. And anybody can come in and watch us blow glass. And we open the gallery, including those 3 days and 3 other days, only gallery in a week. And supposedly we have 1 day off in the week. If some people
Supposedly.
Allegedly.
yeah, people never read those advertising, and people do come into the property, and we live here, so we are like always doing something or in the house usually, because so we let them come in and starting to show the places, and then ending up we are waiting next to people coming into the gallery too. So never really have that much of break, but we really, it's a touristy place, but we are kind of in the middle of nowhere in the tourist place. So I guess we have a good balance of not too many people walks into this place unless they are looking for us. So once they come, they kind of excited what they see, and we show them as much as we can to them at the time. Even the studio wasn't open, I can show them the studio, how the color being made, or even like make the half of the cup for them, and just like 2 seconds. So without the glory hole and the pipe warmer, and just break things and put the paper and put the fire in it, and like, oh my god, it's so hot. Like, isn't it?
That must be hard to be on all the time though. Like you can't just hang in your yard and just be.
Right. I guess we get used to it. And getting old, it's make it easy too. Like I don't really go anywhere anymore. And we have two of us. We can both do the same kind of talk to the customers, or if one person has to go places, we can do it. And we never really do it together. That's one thing, but we are together 24/7 studio house. I guess it's enough. So yeah.
And are you working on like creating your own body of work? Do you have like a bunch of inspiration going on right now, or do you feel like it kind of comes and goes?
It does definitely comes and goes. I just finished, or not really finished, but I just put in a show, tree vase, 4th season of a tree vase. Well, like I have a tree in the middle of the vase, obviously with the name, and background and trees, leaves are different colors by 4 seasons. And it took a while to make me happy with what I made. So I'm like moving on to next, but I'm looking around and thinking, what can I do or what I want to do? It's hard to moving on next after you did something that kind of long time, I feel like.
And when you have ideas, do you draw them out, or do you just kind of keep them in your head and try to get them out into the glass?
I definitely draw. I like to just scribble something in a paper and think about what I can and maybe like what's possibility I have. And then of course it changes everything once you make it, but I like to draw in the paper.
Can you tell us about, you've had a couple of people come through your studio that have learned and like you've kind of mentored them. Can you tell us about what you've learned from working with other people that way?
Yeah, it is. We did have many young people comes in and out. And right now we have youngest is Olivia Curtis. She's from Massad right now. And then Isabel Green. She's with us for 15 years now. Amazing. And
so good.
Yeah, I love her. And yes, before Isabel, there was Brian Ronda. He and Isabel is almost came in the same time, similar time. Before that, there was Japanese girl, couple of years, and in between there's like 1 month or a couple of months and disappeared. Oh, after Isabel, there was Peter Rector. He's working in the glass museum now. It is hard to have new people comes in and try to find where they are or who they are. But and I have to be. I think I always learning how to deal with people. I guess I'm always learning in everything anyway. But definitely, David is maybe, believe it or not, he's much more people person than I am. I am more happy just sitting in a corner by myself, reading book kind of person. And so when we have to work as a team in a glass studio, I have to find a place to make a team running smoothly. My job is supporting everybody to move smoothly too. David is kind of like a boss, and I'm in a second and looking around to everybody knows what they are doing or what has to be done, or I have to find individual strengths and weakness while we are working. And so it's difficult but challenging and maybe good for me because that is definitely not my strength in a person. So I am definitely learned a lot by people coming in and out in our studio.
When they come in, do you like start them by just like sweeping floors, or do you make them help you with the customer service stuff, or it just depends on what the person has to offer?
Usually I try not to too much bother with chores with them. They can't come for the glass blowing, so I can do the chore, and they can learn. They have so much to learn in the studio, so they do have to sweep in the morning and do all kind of stuff, small to big. But usually sweeping, but kind of starting from like ponty, we call that stick up, and or starting a little bit, but not too much. And then right away we try to teach them how to gather, and pretty hand-on from beginning. I think you have to learn and you have to be excited to maximum learning. I think it's too fun to ignore that.
That's such a cool opportunity that you're giving people. It must be hard to also because you're kind of letting them into your house too.
Yeah, right. It is hard. But I usually when we get people, I think all of them, I quite love all of them. So we didn't get really bad people. I don't think we did. Yeah, I guess like we choose before we hired first. The person is I can like them.
That's actually a good point. Like you don't have to say yes to everyone.
Yeah, right. Because definitely I have to let them come in and do this messy house and not judge me. So I start to like them, and then usually I'm like really, really love them. and then I think everybody's good. Just sometimes I have to be really, really hard and a bitchy. And
like you gotta like be the boss too.
Yeah, I know it's not fun, but I do. And then I do.
So I wanted to change the subject a little bit because I was wondering how you price your work and maybe what you've learned about pricing your work.
Oh, yes. Isn't it difficult? maybe I can't say we, but I try to do it with time, how much we spend, how much money we need to make in an hour, and try not to lose money for sure. And but I try not to put too much money in something either. Some of the bigger piece are taking longer time or needed more skill kind of work. We did put more money than only the time can calculate. But I always think to myself when I decide the pricing. I think we are cheaper than many people. And I wanted to say that the best thing in my life is keep making glass. I like this. So I want to make a new design. I want to do same thing is okay, but I want to do things. So if the piece can go away, if I can sell those pieces in little bit cheaper than maybe most kind of price, I'm happy. More people will have it and I can make more pieces. So maybe I will try to do it as cheap as possible for our time can afford, I think. I go sometimes stupid. So yeah, it's hard for me to raise some price too. So yeah, it's sorry, it is very hard to think about how we do. Try to say, I'm sorry, I will do it again.
Oh, that was good. I think that's a cool perspective.
Is it?
Yeah. I totally get it. Sometimes I just want pieces to go away so that I can do them better or do my new thing. And I'm just like, well, I need to pay for the propane that it took to make that one, but now I want to make a new one.
Yeah. Even if I think that was good and nobody liked it, I know it's maybe like my judgment should be important, but I feel like, what could I do? Maybe there's something more I should be doing for this piece and to make people like, oh my God. So I do have a hard time pricing. If it was cheap, it's gonna fly. I like that better, but I can't do it. And I have to make sure what I'm doing is what I like to do too. So
you got to take pride in your work, but you got to pay the bills.
Right. And I want to keep doing it. I don't want to just this is what I do. So you take it or don't. It's not easy to say that.
Is it super hard working with your husband and being together all the time, or did you come together with a flow?
Good question. It is hard. It was hard. And that it is easier now. We are having this studio almost 20 years, and there is up and down for sure. And like I said, he's a pretty stubborn guy, and I am pretty stubborn person too. And and it's easy to respect one another when you are not living together. Sometimes David does stuff in the house that's so stupid. and what kind of 50 years old would do that? And then I guess that same thing is from him too, but that kind of feeling oh my God, that kind of feeling for what I think as a husband can carry on in the studio, even though he is doing 20 years longer in the glass business and much better glass blower, but he is still my idiot husband sometimes.
This is cracking me up.
So I go what are you talking about that I shouldn't do this? And then he started to get what are you talking about? To saying things back to your master. And then like, who is master? Kind of, those kind of feeling comes in to the studio.
Yeah, that gets all mixed up.
So we
That's
fight.
So funny.
Yeah, we fought quite a bit in the beginning, and we starting to find out about where we are as we keep going. And definitely, I have more respect to David than I even started the business together. And I think he does starting to respect me more too. So yeah, and getting better. Well, yeah, it's fun too, working with him and living with him too. Like sometimes we blow glass all day and come home and watching TV and starting to talk about the day what we made, and we just forget about TV and just starting talking about the technique in glass or what we want to do in glass, and can't have that kind of conversation with everybody. And because of we know what we are doing together, that we can do it. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that must be special. And you can share the burden of the studio and your
Yeah,
staff and all
right.
that. Too.
Yeah.
What would be your words of wisdom or your admonition here?
Like some kind of goodbye.
I like to say, work hard for whatever you are doing, even if the end is not what you think. You learn so much from it, and you will never fail if you try 100% and give yourself every happiness possibly you can give, because nobody else can give you than yourself.
Thank you so much for listening to this week's episode of Connected in Glass. Make sure to follow us on Facebook and Instagram for more information on the artists we interview and for updates on the podcast.